What? Stop talking. Let's go. Let's go. So it...
I feel as if...
That's it! I'm sure of it! Well, it would seem...
Of course. I'm sorry. However, of course.
Indeed. However, well, so then, goodbye.
How unfortunate.
Most unfortunate. Actually, indeed. What are you doing out?
Oh,
Are you planning to go exercise?
what? How did...
Because I can see a blue track jacket sticking out of that duffel bag you're carrying.
Oh, you're right. Well, I'd better get going. I'm...
Yes, indeed.
I see.
Yeah! Well... Yeah, totally.
I'm getting tired of waiting. Shall we just... It's the moment. You remember where to meet, right? Please go through the red door.
Yo.
Come on! What are you gonna do?
Let's go.
Very nice. Well? Thrills, chills, kill! Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, if you can figure out who, then I'll punish everyone besides. Okay, then. Let's talk about the...
Chihiro's fatal injury. It appears it was a head wound. Chihiro's fatal. It appears it was a head wound.
According to the Monokuma file, the killer used a blunt instrument. What kind of blunt instrument could it have been?
I bet it was an iron pipe.
Interesting. That certainly would make for a powerful...
Poor Chihiro.
Chihiro's. It appears it was...
According to the Monokuma file, what kind of blunt...
I bet it was an iron.
Interesting. That certainly would...
Poor Chihiro.
Chihiro's. It appears it was...
According to the Monokuma file, what kind of blunt instrument could...
I bet it was an iron.
Interesting. That certainly would...
Poor Chihiro.
Chihiro's. It appears it was...
According to the Monokuma file, what kind of blunt instrument...
I bet it was an iron pipe.
No, it's wrong.
Can we agree that the object... It was covered in blood, and there was nothing else at the scene that could have caused that kind.
And the wound on the victim's head is consistent with the shape of the dumbbell. As far as I'm concerned, there's no mistake and no room for doubt on this one.
You looked at her head wound?
Yes! That's so...
If you don't mind, I will proceed from here. Let's move on. Although, I believe the criminal behind this heinous act is already quite clear.
What? For real?
Chihiro's killer is a fiendish serial killer. Culprit is Genocide Jack. I'm sure of it. Case closed, as far as I'm concerned.
But that's impossible!
Why? What makes it impossible?
Well, I mean, come on! There's just no proof for it.
Hey, so, speaking of, I don't know who that is!
The culprit is Case closed.
But that's impossible!
Why? What makes it impossible?
Well, I mean, come on, there's just no proof for it.
Hey, so, speaking of genocide, I don't know who that is!
The culprit is Genocide Jack.
Case closed.
But that's
Why? What makes...
Well, I mean, there's just no proof for it.
No, that's wrong! I might know one reason.
What?
I found this file. While I was looking around the art, I guess it's some kind of confidential file the police put together about the Genocide Jack.
What? That's kinda weird as shit, isn't it? What was something like that doing in the library?
The why of it is probably more trouble than it's worth. So let's forget about that. More importantly, it outlines all the specifics of every Genocide Jack case according to the file. There appear to be two defining characteristics in every Genocide Jack case. The first is that a bloody message is found written at the scene of every...
Oh, that's right. Boob lust.
No. It's actually bloodlust.
But more important is the other characteristic. And it's something that has never been made public.
Never made public? What the hell is it?
Why don't you tell them, Makoko?
I got it! Apparently, in every Genocide Jack case, the killer suspends the body in a certain way. Other than the killer, the only people who know about this are the higher-ups in the police.
However, Chihiro was most definitely suspended in the same way. So, how did the culprit know about this when only high-level police officials were aware of it? There's only one logical answer. It's because the culprit in this case is the
No fucking way!
You're saying Genocide Jack is...
Yes, in fact, it's Toko.
What?
Genocide Jack's true identity is Toko Fukunaga.
What? Hey, okay, wait, Toko has, like, blodophobia or whatever, remember? What kind of serial killer is a...
Is Toko Genocide Jack? The answer is yes.
Another riddle. Man, what?
Now I understand! Is it because Genocide Jack has a split?
Huh?
I think I read that somewhere in the file. They thought that the suspect might have... what did they call it?
Oh, okay. But still, to go and say that about Miss Fukawa is...
Perfectly acceptable. Toko's strange behavior after seeing the body is proof enough that she has a split personality.
I got it! You're talking about how she started acting totally different than usual, right?
That's right. Think back. She fainted when she saw Chihiro's corpse, and then, when she woke up...
She was acting funny, that's for sure. That melancholy tone of hers completely disappeared.
Don't go assigning adjectives to my tone without permission.
Not to mention, once she regained consciousness and saw Chihiro's body again, she was utterly calm. In other words, within her is one personality that can't handle blood, and one that obviously can't.
So when Toko trapped herself in her room, it...
The reason she locked herself in her room wasn't to keep other people from getting it, it was to keep her other personality from getting out.
What?
Toko was afraid. Afraid of the murderous fiend inside of her. Of killing even more people.
Yeah. How can you know all this?
I do believe you misunderstood her. What she's trying to say isn't, how can you know all this? No. What she wants to know is, how could you tell them?
Huh?
Last night, just before Monokuma gave his motive speech, Toko and I had a strange she told me a most interesting story. She said a murderous fiend lived within her, and she was afraid it could appear and attack at any time. And that trepidation is what's caused her to have such a bleak attitude. Isn't that right?
This is all a lie.
You said you wouldn't...
What?
You promised.
You have only yourself to blame. You came to me with your tragic little story. I didn't. This is the real world, not some romantic fantasy fairy tale. Besides, you broke your promise first. You said that as long as you were here, no matter what, you wouldn't let Genocide Jack kill anyone. But in spite of that promise,
You said if I kept my promise, you would go out. That's the only reason I promised.
how many times do I have to tell you? I never said that. But you weren't able to do it. You just couldn't resist that rush you got from killing.
I tried. I swear I tried to control it.
But your efforts were useless. What a disappointment. Well, the opening act is nearly finished. All that's left is to hear from the person in question.
You don't...
Is it me you were hoping to see? What the heck? So you figured it out, huh? Well, whatever. What are you gonna do? I'm the ultimate murderous fiend, Genocide Jack! Or better... Let's go with Genocide Jill!
What the fuck is this?
Toko, what happened to you?
Not Toko! That's a loser name! And what happened is a textbook split personality! So what if one of them happens to be a serial killer? You should turn a blind eye to one's fault.
So intense.
Like they say, sound in murderous mind, sound in murderous body!
This one is so different from the one we've come to know.
Yes, well, the world is composed of a front and a back, you know. Just Just like how every inning has a top and a bottom, or how in the depths of every truth lives a little lie. Behind every dark and gloomy soul lives another that shines as bright as the sun.
Miss Jack, Jill, can I ask?
What's up?
Some of us think you might be the mastermind behind our entire situation. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'll tell you. I am the mastermind of all masterminds. Just kidding.
Then it's not true?
Of course it's not true! How dare you try to link me to that creep? And another thing, the police and government and society in the outside world are totally powerless! I mean, they just let this idiotic bloodthirsty maniac go buck wild all over town!
Sure, I'm a bloodthirsty maniac, but life is pain, right? To live is to hurt other people. It's a necessary evil if you want to survive. The act of living itself was just kidding again!
This should be enough to convince you. This murderous fiend is responsible for Chihiro. There's clearly a motive, so there should be no doubt.
A motive?
Remember what Monokuma told us? If someone didn't murder and graduate within 24 hours, an embarrassing memory or secret would be revealed. Well, let's assume that Toko's secret was if a secret like that came to light, Toko's life would have undoubtedly been forever ruined. So she had a very clear motive to never have that side of herself.
Interesting. Very, very, very. But sorry, as much as I hate to admit it, I'm not the culprit.
But I cannot imagine anyone other than you could murder someone in such...
Maybe so, but nevertheless, it's the truth.
Do you really expect any of us to believe?
Yeah. I could never believe a word you say, you...
You say that, but do you really expect any of us to believe it?
Perhaps if you had an alibi, that would change things.
Oh, an alibi, huh? Now we're talking!
When you compare your past murders to this incident, the modus operandi matches completely. What more proof do we need? Give it up. You killed her.
But I didn't kill anyone!
You say that, but do you really expect any of us to believe?
Perhaps if you had an alibi.
Oh, an alibi!
When you compare your past, the modus operandi matches complete. What more proof do we need? Give it up. You killed her.
Sorry, but I didn't kill anyone!
You say that, but do you really expect any of us to believe it?
Perhaps if you had an alibi, that would change things.
Oh, an alibi, huh? Now we're talking!
When you compare your past murders to the modus operandi matches completely.
No, it's wrong! Are the methods of murder really exactly the same? I'm not so... I think there's a slight difference between the Genocide Jack cases and this...
How's it any...
Uh-oh, you don't know? Well then, human garbage! I murder with passion and conviction. I consider myself a professional, and I have a very particular way of doing things. Imagine you go to a fancy Italian restaurant. They're very picky about the noodles, the sauce, but what happened to Chihiro? It'd be like if that same Italian restaurant started using ragu or chef boy. This is no creation of...
Let me rephrase that, in a way that maybe makes more sense. There are two clear differences between the Genocide Jack cases and the... I got it! For one, the cause of death. In the Genocide Jack murders, all the victims were, according to the case file, they were all apparently killed with a pair of scissors. But Chihiro died from a blow to the head, right? Ah, yes! That
That is remarkably different from the other murders.
Wouldn't it be strange for someone who kills the same way without fail to suddenly change their... And there's more. One more can...
That's right! In my recipe of murder, if the bloody message is the torta, then the arrangement of the body would be the pesto sauce!
Could you please stop comparing killing people to cooking?
So, are you saying the other difference has to do with how the body...
I got it! Do you remember what the killer used to... They used some kind of rope to hang her up by her wrist.
What is your point?
Well, in all the previous Genocide Jack cases, something... Specifically, pairs of razor-sharp scissors.
And guess what? I used my own specially designed scissors for the murders and the arrangement! Like I said, I'm a professional, so naturally I'm very picky about the tools I use. And you know what else? Big Mac said there's two differences, but he's wrong.
Big Mac? Are you referring to me?
Listen up, Big Mac. There's actually...
Huh?
My word, you really didn't notice? Take a look at who the victims were in each Genocide Jack. There's a pattern there, just waiting to be
Pattern?
Figure that out, and it'll be plain as death why I couldn't have possibly killed that little lolly girl.
I got it! Is it because Chihiro was a girl?
Bingo! Bullseye! Right on the money!
What are you talking about?
In all the Genocide Jack cases, all the victims had something in common.
They were all... guys?
That's right! The people I kill with such passion and conviction are all adorable little... I can't believe I said it! I'm so embarrassed!
The hell is wrong with you?
I can't help it! I'm just a full-throttle boy-on-boy fangirl! And the movie side of me just hates it! But now I'm on the fast track to becoming a full-fledged fan!
So, since Chihiro was a girl and not an adorable little man, you wouldn't kill her?
Would an Italian chef suddenly start making ramen just because they're both noodles? Don't be stupid. I have too much passion and conviction to cross that line. That's the absolute reality of the one and only.
We get it. You've clearly explained your hobby and your philosophy. But that's not all there is. It's a different matter entirely. When you're forced to kill in order to survive.
Quiet, lowly car!
Lowly?
I would never kill for a reason as petty as mere survival. And if by some fluke I did kill to survive, why would I bother with the message and arrangement? It'd make me the obvious suspect.
That does make some amount of...
Plus, whatever reason I have for killing, I would never leave out my prized scissors. Who would go out of their way to use a big, stupid, heavy dumbbell?
Maybe you used the dumbbell because you couldn't find any...
Any scissors? I don't just use any scissors. I only use my own set of pipes.
Okay, whatever. There still aren't any in the school.
Are you sure about that? That's right! So I can kill anywhere, anytime! Why would I resort to dumbbells or rope when I have my trusty scissors by my side? Go ahead, tell me I'm wrong! You can't, can you? Gutter dogs, all of you! Not to mention, I have no clue how to tie a good knot! So rope's totally out of the question anyway!
I have no idea what's going on anymore! Could such a heinous
But the body really was suspended, right? And nobody but the police knew about it.
Yeah! That's why we figured it had to be the real deal, and not some copycat killer or whatever.
Here's my answer! Byakuya. It's possible you could have found out. You'd have no problem gaining access to classified government documents. Plus, you'd already looked through the Genocide Jack file before this all
Are you saying Mr. Toga?
Then, the reason pushed the theory of Genocide Jack being the killer so hard was because he wanted to pin the crime on her.
So, he rearranged the scene to disguise it and make it look like I put my stamp on it. The adorable glasses man was behind it all. Oh, I'm on fire!
Well, Byakuya, what's your
I see. So now the suspicion, then I must ask. When would you say I began acting suspicious? Surely you must have it.
Look at the way you were acting right before we discovered the body was a little strange. You wanted to go to the girls' locker room right away, right? But since you're
I should have naturally thought of the boys' locker room first. Is that what you want to say? The victim was Chihiro, a girl. Hence why I said we should check the girl.
Nothing strange about that.
On the contrary, there's something very...
Okay then, go ahead. Share with the rest of the class.
So, you said Byakuya was acting kind of weird before we found the body. But he was acting weird... how?
If you're presented with the opportunity to check out the girls' locker room...
You absolutely... That's a natural reaction for any guy!
The victim was Chihiro, who was a girl, so of course I would suggest we check the girls' There was no time for pointless distractions. What's so strange about...
I wish you'd taken me with you.
So, you said Byakuya was acting kind of weird before we found him. But he was acting...
If you're presented with the opportunity...
That's a natural...
The victim
was Chihiro, who was a girl.
Shoot! So, you said Byakuya was acting kind of weird before, but he was acting weird... how?
If you're presented with the opportunity to check out the girls' locker room...
You absolutely take it! That's a natural reaction for any guy!
The victim was Chihiro, who was a girl, so of course I would suggest we check the girls' locker room first. There was no time for pointless distractions. What's so strange about that?
I wish you'd taken me with you.
So, you said Byakuya was acting kind of weird before we found the body.
Shoot!
So, you said Byakuya was acting kind of weird before we found the body. But he was acting weird... how?
If you're presented with the opportunity to check out the girls' locker room...
You absolutely take it! That's a natural...
The victim was Chihiro, who was a girl, so of course I would suggest we check the girls' locker room first. There was no time for pointless distractions. What's so strange about that?
I wish you'd taken me with you.
So, you said Byakuya was acting kind of weird before we found the body. But he was acting weird... how?
If you're presented with the opportunity to check out the girls' locker room,
You absolutely take it! That's a natural reaction for any guy!
The victim was Chihiro, who was a girl. So of course I would suggest we check the girls' locker room first. There was no time for pointless distraction.
What's so strong? You wish you'd taken me with you? So, you said Byakuya was acting kind of weird before we found the body.
Shoot!
So, you said Byakuya was acting kind of weird before we found the body. But he was acting weird... how?
if you're presented with the opportunity to check out the girls' locker...
That's a natural reaction for any guy!
The victim was Chihiro, who was a girl. So of course I would suggest we check the girls' locker. There was no time for... What's so strong?
You wish you'd taken me with you? So, you said Byakuya was but he was acting...
If you're presented with the opportunity...
That's a natural...
The victim was Chihiro, who...
No, it's wrong! I'll tell you what's so strange about that. Because up until we actually discovered the body, we couldn't have known who the victim was. So your claim that you went to the girls' locker room first because Chihiro was the victim doesn't hold up.
I see. That's a good answer, I must admit. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. But your reasoning... Huh? What's wrong? Is that it? Surely you've got more... What's the matter? You're not finished already.
There is.
There is more to it. Think about it. We just talked about the differences between this case and past genocide. The proof you're looking for is...
Oh? Proof that I'm the culprit, you mean?
You want me to explain it again? When I want to kill, I use my very own special scissors. And I use those same scissors to arrange the body.
But Chihiro was suspended with... It was some kind of rope. Was it not?
That's right! It absolutely was!
Then there must be something very...
Hey, Byakuya, where'd you get it?
I'd never seen that rope before in my life. Obviously, somebody else must have had it hidden away somewhere.
What? The difference? You want me to explain when I want to kill, and I use those same...
But Chihiro, it was some kind of...
That's right!
Then there must be something very...
Hey, Byakuya, where'd you get it from?
I'd never seen that rope before in my life. Obviously, somebody else must have had it hidden away somewhere.
What? The difference? You want me to explain when I want to kill, and I use those same scissors...
But Chihiro was suspended with... It was some kind of rope.
That's right! It absolutely...
Then there must be something...
Hey, Byakuya, where'd you get...
I'd never seen that rope before in my life. Obviously, somebody else must have had it hidden away somewhere.
What? The difference? You want me to explain when I want to kill, and I use those same scissors...
But Chihiro, it was some kind of...
That's right!
Then there must be something very...
Hey, Byakuya,
I'd never seen
That rope before in my life.
No, it's wrong! Actually, I'm pretty sure you have, because you see, that rope, or should I say, That extension cord?
What? An extension cord?
Byakuya, you've used the extension cord in the library more than once, and the same extension cord that was in the library all this time went missing after. And there's no way someone who uses that extension cord as much as you do wouldn't discover.
And Byakuya must be the one who took the extension.
That's really what you think? Then your conclusion is something. I killed Chihiro in the girls' locker room, then hung her up and wrote that bloody message. I intentionally made it look like Genocide Jack was behind it. Is that about right? What's wrong? I asked you if you think that's what happened.
Hell yes, that's what happened.
I don't disagree with not disagreeing.
He kept calling this a game, right? So he'd be totally willing to do something like this to win.
Sorry, but could we hold on just as I think we need.
Do we really need to?
I know, but there's something that's still bothering.
Is that right? And what, pray tell, is still bothering you? I killed her in the girls' locker room, then discussed specifically, I dressed it up to make it look like it was the work of a homicide. What about all that bothers you?
I refuse to give up yet! Actually, I'm pretty sure you have seen it before. Because, you see, that extension cord?
What? An extension?
Byakuya, you've used the extension cord in the library more than once, haven't you? And the same extension cord that was in the library all this went missing after the murder. And there's no way someone who uses that extension cord as much as you do.
And Byakuya must be the one who took the extension cord. I can't imagine any other possibility.
That's really what you think? Then your conclusion is something like this? I killed Chihiro in the girls' locker room, then hung her up and wrote that bloody message. I intentionally made it look like Genocide Jack was behind it. Is that about right? What's wrong? I asked you.
Hell yes, that's what happened. So that's it, right?
I don't disagree with not disagree.
You kept calling this a game, right?
Sorry, but could I think we...
Do we really need to? We've already decided who did it.
I know, but there's something that's... I got it! You say you killed Chihiro in the girls' locker room, right? But are you sure about that? Isn't it possible that the murder took place somewhere else?
What kind of question is that? Even in the world of disappointments, this is a truth. She was found dead in the girls' locker room. There is absolutely no question of how could the scene of the crime have been
Well, I think it's entirely possible that she was killed somewhere else, along with the rest of the murder scene.
The rest of... That was awfully specific. Please tell me you have a reason for saying all of that.
I believe I do.
Don't just move on without permission! What do you mean she was killed
Come on, Makoto. If there's any chance the murder took place somewhere else, let's...
I got it! The proof that she was killed somewhere else is... the poster that's hanging in each...
Your proof?
The poster in the girls' lock... a picture of a big boobed soup. Why would the girls' lock... Again, that doesn't really seem to belong in a boy's locker room.
So you're saying that maybe...
And there's one other thing I noticed. You know what I'm talking about.
You're referring to my protein coffee.
Protein?
While I was in the girls' locker room earlier, I spilled, but I noticed that after the murder, the stain had been...
The stain on the girls' locker room carpet wasn't scrubbed away. In fact, I found it on the boys'.
That's definitely the stain from my protein.
Then, does that mean that the carpets were such? Why would anyone do
to move the murder scene from one locker room to the other? It's certainly plausible. In other words, in order to completely swap the scene, the blood-stained poster and carpet were moved along with the dead body. By doing this, the killer was able to change the entire room where the murder took.
I can certainly follow your reasoning, but why would the culprit bother doing that?
Huh?
Why would they go through all that trouble of actually, an even bigger question. If the murder did take, then how did Chihiro get in the boys' locker room? To get into the locker rooms, you have to swipe your but Chihiro's handbook should have only allowed her act. She had no way to get into the boys'.
No, she did have a way! And I can tell you—
I highly doubt that.
Shut up! I'm telling you, I know how she could—
Is it really possible? Could Chihiro really have gotten into the boys' locker room somehow?
Ah! I got it! She must have hacked her e-handbook! Shoot!
Is it really possible? Could Chihiro really—
I got it! She must have hacked her e-handbook! She was the ultimate programmer, after all. I'm sure that would have been no problem for her.
No, I don't think that's it. She used the thing that was in the main hall.
Huh? What thing?
I'm talking about Leon's handbook, of course. If she had that, she could get into the boys' locker room.
No problem.
Is it really? Could Chihiro really—
she must have hacked. She was the ultimate. I'm sure that would have—
No, I don't— She used the thing.
Huh? What?
I'm talking about Leon's handbook, of course.
No, it's wrong. No, I don't think Chihiro—
Why not?
Because Leon's handbook was
Oh. Well, then, yeah, I guess that'd be pretty impossible.
I am struck silent by how quickly you gave up.
Plus, isn't there a regulation against using someone else's—
Actually, the rule states that loaning your handbook is prohibited. It says nothing about borrow. In other words, you could borrow a dead person's handbook all you want, and you'd be safe.
Yup. Hit the nail square on the noggin.
Of course, if it were broken, that wouldn't make any sense.
So then, she must have hacked hers, like I said. She used—
You can't fix an e-handbook. The instant you open one up, a security buzzer starts.
So, if she didn't use Leon's handbook, and
maybe Mr. Naegi's initial assumption is just—
the girls' locker room?
We've already searched this place.
I do apologize for keeping you waiting. Now then, let's resume the class trial. We've all just learned of the shocking revelation that Chihiro was actually a boy. Let's pick up from there.
Yes, well, I don't know his reason for hiding it, but the fact is, And because the victim was male, he would have had no problem gaining access.
Assuming his handbook did, in fact, list his gender as male, then yes, that would be true.
Of course his handbook said he was.
So then, there should be no issue with Makoto's initial assertion. The victim was killed in the boys' locker room, and was then later moved to the girls', and the killer could have easily used Sayaka or Junko's handbook to get into the girls' locker room.
So Chihiro really was killed in the boys'.
I still don't understand the motive for moving the body, but yes, that does seem.
Well, I must admit, I did find it rather odd. I knew he felt a little off. There was a certain incongruity.
This is the most titillating situation.
So now everything has been connected. All the.
Okay, well, connected or clear or whatever. We still think you're.
Very interesting. This has become very interesting indeed.
He's off in his own little world.
What about you, Makoto? After everything we've learned, do you still think Byakuya—
Well, without a doubt, Byakuya is the one that made Chihiro's death look, but I think he might not actually be the—
What? But aren't you the one who accused him in the—
He just seems to be too easygoing about all this. Like he's enjoying us solving the mystery. The way he's acting.
And you think that might be—
Plus, the evidence he consciously chose to use the extension, at least. And Byakuya, when you found out the murder took place in the boys' locker room, it seemed to— And then again, when you found out Chihiro was actually a guy— If you really were the killer, that stuff wouldn't have had any of—
So that's your thinking, huh? Well, it bothers me that you don't have more concrete. It's fine. I guess I'll mark it as correct, for the time.
Mark it as.
He's right. I am not the culprit. I just happened to come across the corpse in the girls' locker room and decided—
Are you fucking with us right now?
No, I am not effing with you right now. I'm telling you that—
Well, I find it very hard to believe.
Go ahead. Find it very hard to believe. You're free to be executed along with the rest of us.
If you're really telling the truth, then. Why? Why do you do that?
My reasons hardly matter right now. Uncovering the culprit is much more important, wouldn't you say? Now then, if it wasn't me, who—
Well, I don't think I can say for sure without talking about—
We're seriously gonna keep going? We're all good, aren't we? I thought it was—
No, I'm with Makoto. If there's any doubt whatsoever, because if we're wrong, we all die.
That's true. Very well then. I'm with—
Damn straight. Count me.
I got it!
There.